right, dude. I checked this multiple times. So if we have the same technical issues that we have from our last one, I'm going to lose my mind, by the way. In fact, here, we'll test right now. I'm just going to go.
Check.
No. That's working. I promise that's working.
I don't know how else to help.
Yeah. Just say check. Check, 1, 2, check.
What you gonna do?
When we switch. Okay, there we go. Because before, when we were switching, it was like canceling it out in our. So, all right. Hey, dude. So in the most, this will be 2 episodes later. But in our most recent one, do you ever re-listen to the podcast ever?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Did you listen to the last one?
No.
So that had the story of the idiot wars, me and the other guy that was stopped at the stop sign.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that got a lot. I got a couple of people that text me and were like, dude, that is so on brand for you. Dude, my sister reminded me of one of those things that I did, like that I had totally forgotten about. And it's like basically she was just saying I was like the king of like unnecessarily putting myself through like pain and torment for no reason whatsoever to try to get at somebody, to try to get back at somebody else, but it has no meaningful like impact on the whole thing. She's like, oh yeah, you're like that. Cause she's all, do you remember one time we were in Arizona and it was the middle of the summer and we were going to like, it's almost like, here in Utah, we have a place called Lagoon and it's like a roller coasters and stuff. Right. I mean, it's Utah, so it's pretty good though. You know, it's like the Western family version of Disney, I guess you could say. Yeah. So very similar down in Phoenix, Arizona. Now remember, it's the middle of the summer, okay? And Arizona, last time I checked, gets pretty hot, right? And it was me and my sisters and my stepmom, and I cannot remember for the life of me why I was so upset. But we got to the theme park, and so we got there, I don't know, like noonish, you know? And they went into the theme park and I was like, oh, I'm going to show them. I can't.
Show them what?
I can't remember why I was so pissed off, but I didn't want to go to the theme park and I was taking a stand.
I see.
So my protest was, I'm just going to sit in this car with the windows rolled up while they go in there.
That'll show them.
Dude, and now that was like, it was so crazy because when my sister told me about that, I remembered it and I was like, oh my God, dude, that was the hottest thing I've ever been in my life. Like that was so, but I wanted it to be like when they came back, I was going to be like drenched. I had like this puddle, like this, like kind of where your neck meets your, you know, your chest right here. Like I had a pool of sweat just in there. I was just cooking. People were coming by and like, do we need to go call the police? This was like, it was, it was so crazy. And I'm like, accomplished nothing. Like nothing came from it.
What were you hoping their reaction would, like, what were you in your mind? You had a scenario. What was it? They come back and see you and then
I don't know what I was trying to accomplish with that dude in the truck either. I mean, it was just like, oh, you want to get into this battle? Like,
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, but nothing after it though. Just oh yeah.
Yeah. I will jack my truck up and take the wheels off.
Just got it on blocks.
Yeah. Dude, it was just so, yeah. I don't know what that, I know it's stubbornness, but it's more than stubbornness. It's so weird. And at my own personal expense too. Like, I don't know why I'm okay with those things. Like, it's just so dumb.
Well, it sounds like that dude that was at having the standoff with you might have been wired real similar.
Yeah. I wonder what he
probably
did.
would be friends if you met him.
Maybe, I don't know.
Mortal enemies. Yeah.
That's kind of funny. So, well, dude, I was you ever, I don't know why I'm, you don't, but, do you remember back in, well, like, I know you remember like 80s movies. Cause do you ever watch those like from time to time nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, do you remember like the sheer amount of nudity that
I was just talking about this with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It especially all the horror movies, but also just random gratuitous like Porky's and
sure.
Yeah. It was
or like
Animal House.
Yeah. Revenge of the Nerds.
Dude, it was so funny. Cause like, I remember I was just talking about that.
Yeah. I remember nerds like you have a completely different perspective on it now. And I was thinking of like how many sexual offenses they committed at Lambda,
Oh, dude,
like unintentionally or no,
Yeah.
intentionally, but like back then it was a joke though, right?
The
like
dude pretending like he was her boyfriend
yeah.
in that.
in that moon house or
Yeah,
whatever. It was
yeah.
like a gigantic waterbed. Or when they drilled a hole into the girls' locker room.
Right.
Like I'm like, oh yeah, there'd be a few charges that. And back then it was
Yeah, it was just a laugh line. It was,
yeah, dude. Or I remember there's a movie I was paying attention because I've been on like because when you watch like on Prime or something, right? I just had been watching some 80s movies. I bought this horrible 80s movies. It was horrible but good. It's by John Carpenter and it was called They Live. You ever heard of it?
Nope.
Pretty cool movie. I won't get into the details, but after you watch it, like it gives you suggested next, right? And then I'm like, oh, there's another cool one, right? So I started watching them, and the one that I started watching was called License to Drive. You ever seen that one?
No.
It's got Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. They were big 80s dudes, right? Anyway, it's about this kid, and he fails his driver's exam but lies to his parents that he passed it, and he, there's a girl. Her name is Mercedes Lane, too, by the way. Most unrealistic name of all time. She's in high school with him. And they go out. So he steals his grandpa's Cadillac, and they go out for a night on the town. And anyway, wackiness ensues. Now, before that, though, they were at a party, right? And Mercedes comes in with... Now, in there, context is important because he said, oh, I'm going to take out Mercedes, right? She's not old enough to drive yet, which... means she has to be what age?
15
at the most, right? Or the least.
or younger.
At the least. Okay, 15 or 14. She walks into this party with her adult boyfriend who's in college, and he says, and he's like I don't know, he had some accent, and I don't know what the accent is, like maybe Spain or something. And he's like, Mercedes, we do not want to be, I don't know what the accent was, but and I was like, wait, that's an adult with a 15-year-old at this party of high schoolers. Like,
and that wasn't like addressed. It was just kind of like a given in the movie, or was it addressed that this guy's a creep?
Well, no. It was just like, okay, moving on now,
Okay.
like because then she, and they took his, she's got a cool college boyfriend, and I'm like, dude, those college, that's
It's illegal.
yeah, that's all horrible. What are you talking about, college boyfriends? And the acceptance of that just was so prevalent back then. And I just don't think, I don't know, for better or worse, because things are way different now, of how, and I started to kind of dig into it a little bit because I thought it'd just kind of be a cool topic because it reminded me of a really funny Bill Burr skit that you and I have seen before. I think you'll remember it as soon as I start playing it. And speaking of technical difficulties, I could not get these downloaded from YouTube for some reason. Maybe they're protecting them better, but you'll remember this when you see it here. Okay.
All right. Well, it's good to be here, man. It's nice to be back town here in New York. I didn't do shit today. I didn't. I'm a loser, man. Just sat around watching TV and all that type of stuff. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. You know what? I'm sick of pedophiles. I am. Sex offenders. Dude, they're on every channel. Everybody is doing something on sex offenders. It's like, dude, I got it. There's people out there touching kids, But it's not everybody. It's a very small portion of the population. So, take it down a few, because you're making it fucking awkward out there. Dude, you can't say hi to kids anymore. I love kids. I love kids. I like making faces at them on the airplane, making them laugh. Now parents are like, is that a sex offender? They start huddling their kids in, making me feel like a freak, I'm terrified of kids now. Remember back in the day when a kid would come walking up to you, you could pat him on the head. Hey there, Rusty, how you doing, right? Now a kid comes walking up and I'm like, dude, get that thing the fuck away from me. Get it away from me. I'm serious, dude, get it away from me. Hands are up high, not aroused, just terrified. Please, for the love of God, I'm serious. Get that thing away from me, all right? Don't need the FBI or have to catch a predator guy to come walking out. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Sit down.
Okay.
That show To Catch a Predator, man, that is...
so I guess what I was kind of getting at with this is, you know, he kind of has a point there. Like, things have changed big time, right? Like people are, and I don't know if that's for like good or bad, but I guarantee, no matter what you think about it, like, I don't know, have you noticed the shift in terms of content in movies? Like you know, back in the day you could watch, I remember watching Airplane. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, it's weird we're having this conversation because I literally was just talking about
About Airplane?
the shift. No, but
okay.
just the shift in content.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, have you seen that movie Airplane before?
Yeah.
Okay. That's rated PG. Okay. So that's like Disney level stuff, right? And there's a spot on there where it's like the plane is like going down or something, or they think it's going down, so it's chaos, right? All the oxygen masks have come, and everybody, like, there's a lady trying to put, you know, very slapstick comedy, like a lady trying to put her lipstick on, like,
yeah,
and then
I love that
in the madness of everything, a girl walks by and she just has her breast bouncing in front of the camera and then walks by.
Gratuitous. That's the type of
right.
It's that type of stuff.
Right, and then there's no other nudity in the entire movie, but it was rated PG.
So that right there, yeah, if it's PG, that pretty well makes your case.
Yeah.
The person I was talking about this with had pointed out that there's still plenty of sex in modern movies. Like, you know, like if you look at any of the Game of Thrones, Spartacus,
sure,
you know, there's sex scenes, but it's what is the difference then? Because I know what you're talking about. It's like, especially again, horror movies like slapstick, just it's not necessary for the plot line. It's just like, here's some boobs.
Yeah. Well,
but there's still sex in modern cinema. It's
sure.
It's just, it doesn't stand out the way that it does. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it.
And if I look at it like comparatively, it's changed. Like, so one of the things I was looking into, so it was like nudity was really just prevalent and narratively just unchallenged back then. Like, it was just, so it could not have anything to do with the movie and still just be there, right? Completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a huge fan of that anyway. Like, if you just have nudity for the sake of nudity, even like, I mean,
just
I don't know.
Silly.
Well, yeah, sometimes, I mean, even like nowadays when there's like sex scenes and stuff, I'm like, I don't know if it's necessary. Like, to me,
it's not.
It's like a person walking up to a door, and you know how sometimes directors get all artsy and they do a tight shot on, you know, you putting the key into the keyhole,
yes,
and then the pins dropping onto the key and then turning it, and then the knob, and then I was like,
just open the door.
All right, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, have them walking up to the door, and then in the living room, we can do the math in between. We know what's happening. Okay, we don't need that. And sometimes that's what I'm saying. Like, if he's making out with a girl or whatever, and then they go into the next room, it's like, okay, I got it. I don't need anything else. Like, you know, and they wake up with the sheets on. I'm like, great. I know what happened. I don't know, you know, like, it's not, if it's not, and it's kind of difficult for me to say, oh yeah, without that sex scene, that movie would have fallen apart. You know what I mean?
Does it feel like, not insulting, it's not that big a deal, but just almost like you're being, here's some slop for you cinema lovers, here's some nudity, watch. It's like, it's not even necessary.
I don't know. Well, some of the research on this was it's kind of funny because they had actual research on it. Was kind of but so a couple things I said, 1980s, 1990s, R-rated films obviously showcase frequent nudity, especially female nudity. And the themes were central to appeal to teen sex, like comedies, slasher films, and even films, like mainstream like Freddy Krueger, right? All of them. Yeah, every single one of them, right? In fact, that was the time they were killed. Like, you start when getting down was when people were getting killed, right? So there was an article all the way back from the 90s. It's called Television and Adolescent Sexuality. It was by it was published in the Journal of Adolescent Healthcare, and it said that by then, like, sexual themes were pretty well embedded in media that were targeting youth by the late 1980s, and that continued into the mid 90s. And I noticed that because I've watched Seinfeld on Netflix like 3 times through the entire seasons. Dude, the amount of times they talk about sex in that show is crazy. Like, and I think, I mean, Seinfeld's relatively like pretty vanilla nowadays, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the way they talk about it all the time, like, you know, my kid will be like, "What?" You know, like, geez, dude. So, so on this though, when it came to to the 2000s and 2010s. And you saw this, they kind of were talking about like Matrix was a big point. Cause do you remember the Matrix? Like there's no nudity in the Matrix. And there's violence, but not like graphic violence. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fighting, but there's hardly any blood in there. There's not a ton. I mean, there's people getting killed and stuff, but it was rated R. And I was like, geez, why was that rated R? I don't know if it needed to be rated R, but it was. And I don't know if it was for language. So the depiction of, by the early 2000s, they said the depiction of nudity and sexual content had clearly declined in theatrical releases, and while graphic and stylized violence surged. And that totally makes sense with movies like The Matrix. And then that still continues today. Like if you look at the whole John Wick series or everything that Jason Statham's in, like like all of them rated R. Rarely do they have any nudity or anything, and they're all violent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just more of a
That's for sure the case.
But so you ever watch The Love Boat?
Yeah, a long time ago. Sure. Yeah.
Dude, I love even back then, dude. Like it's just so funny because you have I've never been on a cruise. I never want to go on a cruise, but it's just so funny to me, the idea that you have the captain and The Love Boat is adults going on a cruise to hook up, right? So I assume that exists somewhere nowadays, right? That has to exist.
Probably.
Okay. So let's just say it does. Modern day Love Boat. And, you have the captain and the doctor of the ship and go for whatever the hell he did there. They're all standing there greeting the guests, and some hot young lady walks on or whatever, attractive young gal. And the doctor of the ship's like, wait, he talks to the hotel, like, what maitre d' or whatever she is. And what room is she in? Well, I'll be doing a late night doctor call for her. I'm like, well, gee, what? I was like, you're stalking her, bro. But so this episode, do you remember like in the 80s and 90s, like you'd have like Family Matters was a really big deal, right? Awesome show. But every now and then, whether it was like Who's the Boss or Family Matters or whatever it was, they'd have a serious episode, right?
Oh, yeah.
Whether it was like about drug use.
Yeah, Saved by the Bell.
Right. Oh,
Jesse had the caffeine addiction.
Yeah. Yeah, her and AC. But
I'm so excited.
Yes. So this episode was the big abuse, like child abuse one, right?
What are we talking
on the
about?
Love Boat. This was the big. This was their big child abuse one, where it's funny, ha 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 ha, but then we're gonna get serious and we're gonna drill down on this serious subject matter called The Love Boat. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a couple clips from this. I don't know how YouTube works. I thought if you just like show a couple clips and don't,
I think we'll be good.
we'll probably get a copyright strike, but I mean, because the amount of the crazy amount of money that we're making on this YouTube,
yeah, we can
channel.
afford it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna show you this little scene here, and then I'll set the table for you. Oh, that's wrong. Good technical errors right out of the gate.
Doesn't seem to be much going on in this scene.
I know. There it is, catching itself up. Okay, here we go. So people are walking onto the boat. Okay, and it says, "Welcome, Merry Christmas." As soon as I switch over, that's what we're gonna do.
Just back that out.
I wonder if it's because.
There we go. Just let it play.
I'll just let it play. We'll just have to narrate it here. Okay.
Adam Bricker, ship's doctor. Office hours 3 to 5 in case you sprain your neck.
Jeff Dalton, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Excuse me, but could you tell me how to get to the Fiesta deck, cabin 119?
Yeah, through the lobby.
Okay. So a little kid has just walked onto the boat, okay? And he's now hiding. And we have a handsome gentleman standing here talking to the doctor, and then a lovely young lady walking up and asking where they're going on to where they're going. I think because maybe it's the streaming service won't allow us to show it or something like that. Who knows? Who cares? Okay, so she's now asking, why, how, or where's my room or whatever. Okay, so this kid is sneaking onto the ship. And you're gonna see some interaction with him in the what is it, the what is the main person at that greets you at the hotel?
Concierge?
Yeah, concierge. There we go. Okay.
To the right.
Thank you.
Well,
I wonder if it's
Both
too late
checking
to
her
put
out.
that on my list to Santa.
Okay, now the kid's sneaking out of his hiding spot. He's gonna run right into the concierge.
Hi, can I help you? Oh, yeah, sure. I was just looking for my father, yeah. There he is.
There's my dad. He points to the guy that was
Dad!
getting earlier.
Dad!
Okay, now that spoiler alert, that's not
When
his
he's checking
dad.
chicks, he doesn't hear anything. Hey, mister. Mister, there's a cute little girl over there, and I think she kind of likes you.
Yeah? Where?
So he says, "Hey, there's a cute girl over there. I think she kind of likes you." Okay.
Pointing to the concierge.
Right. Now this kid, he's just snuck onto the boat. He has no affiliation with this. That is not his father. Okay. But throughout this, you get a couple of glimpses into this, because the captain and the doctor and the concierge and everybody is noticing how this kid is being treated by his dad. And it's not his dad, by the way. This is not his dad, but they think it is his dad. So they're all super concerned for this kid's welfare, because because the guy's trying to hook up with the lady, right? So he's like, "Get out of here, kid." You know what I mean? And the kid's trying to show him magic tricks and stuff. And it looks like, wow, that's the worst dad of all time, right?
Right.
Okay. So then he is able to cajole this young lady back to his room, right? And then Scotty, that's the name of the kid, interrupts this. So here's that next clip.
Oh, Jeff. Kiss in the moonlight.
Oh, Jeff.
Then a show. Now champagne.
That's a handsome dude, by
How
the
could
way.
you top an evening like that?
So they're sitting on the couch drinking some champagne.
Think of something.
Ooh, first kiss. There we go. Knock on the door.
Maybe it's my late shift replacement.
Who could it be?
Hi, Jeff. Thought I'd give you a chance to get even.
Gee, great, but right now I'm busy. Kathy and I would like to spend a little time together.
You already spent time together. I saw you two kissing on the deck.
You did? Hmm? Yeah, well, we'd like to spend a little more time together.
Yeah.
Gotcha, pal. Be back in 5 minutes.
Oh, wait.
5 minutes.
You're not getting the picture.
it wasn't Julie's fault now. She was just trying to help get
Okay,
Bobby
now,
Braddock and his
the
father
doctor
back
and the captain
together
come
again.
walking
It
down
was
and
a
start
very
seeing this
nice
again.
Christmas gesture.
Poor kid,
The way it
right?
turned out, she could have waited till Easter.
I can't make it any clearer. Beat it. Hmm? And please, don't come back. Not tonight, I mean. Kathy and I want to be alone.
Yeah, no. If,
Okay.
if you're the captain
Sure, no problem.
and the doctor and
Great.
you're seeing this, like,
Check with me tomorrow.
I mean, don't you say something to the dad like, "Hey, dude, you got to watch your kid.
Yeah, yeah,
like, you
of
can't just kick him out of your room, buddy."
Yeah.
But no, they don't do that. They take a completely alternative step that you wouldn't see coming.
Tomorrow.
Must be an epidemic on this ship.
The captain won't
Fathers
stand for
running out on
that.
their sons. Hi, Scotty.
Oh, hi.
We couldn't help but overhearing.
Oh, that? Oh, that's nothing. Me and my father have a great arrangement.
You're up kind of late, Scotty. Where do you plan to spend the night?
Oh, it's no big deal. I'll just go somewhere else.
Absolutely not. You'll spend the night in my quarters.
What?
Hey, I'm not a kid. I can handle it.
Careful. If you disobey captains, they make you walk the plank.
Okay, now doesn't that seem a little creepy? Immediately, like, nonsense, young man. You're gonna spend the night in my room,
Yeah.
and then his buddy. Yeah, careful. If you disobey the captain, they'll make you walk the plank.
Like,
Okay. Come here, Scotty. We're going to go back to my room, okay? So then we fast forward to now this is the funny thing is because at this point like they think, or the people who are running the show, they seem to think that that this is like a profound reveal, right? But so you have Scotty And
I think what's a profound reveal?
you'll see here in a moment. So he's in the captain's quarters. He's got his daughter right here, but he's making the bed on the couch for Scotty, right?
You must have been a good boy this year. You sure got a lot of presents. Those aren't for him. Those are for giving. Yeah, well, Christmas, who cares? I do.
Well, that's it. Vicky, you go back to bed.
Kisses his daughter
Good
on
night.
the lips, and his
You young
daughter's
man.
clearly in her teens. Weird.
Get into bed.
Bed? It's too early. You can go to bed, and I'll turn in later.
Go to bed.
Go to bed.
All right.
Now Scotty complies.
Well, you can't go to bed with your clothes on.
Oh, jeez.
So he's in the captain's quarters. Go to bed. Scotty complies, lays down. Can't go to bed with your clothes on.
Why not? I always sleep with my clothes on. Saves time in the morning.
Rips him out of bed.
You're gonna take your shirt
I can
off. You're
undress
gonna
my
take your
feet.
trousers
Forces him
off.
to take a shower. Oh, there's the big reveal. He's got bruises all over his back. Okay. Now,
Scott.
okay, I'm not trying to make light of abuse or anything like that. What I am trying to say though is, doesn't that whole scenario, just like if you were watching that, there's no modern sitcom that would involve
How
that
different
interaction.
are things now?
Right. Yeah. Like you.
Because that was the captain is shown to be like caring and not
Yeah.
creepy, but
Yeah.
our modern eyes look at this and like, oh, dude, he's grooming him. They're using coercion. He's ripping his clothes off. This guy's full on ready to, yeah.
Yeah. So
How different.
the R-rated movies today, they're obviously far more likely to depict like graphic violence
I see what you're saying.
than explicit sexual activity. But I think even more like it's even shifted like the subtleties of how we view things, because like little things that prior to this, back then, it's doubtful that anybody that was watching The Love Boat at that time was picking up on those things.
I would be curious.
You know what I
to know.
mean?
Yeah, I don't.
Or License to Drive, or
Because
any
it
of those
wasn't
shows.
meant. It would have been a little more. So this was clearly meant to show the bruises on his back. Which, if you're listening, when he took the clothes off, Scotty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had bruises all over his back. That was the direction it was going. This wasn't like a PSA on sexual abuse at all.
Mm-hmm.
But we're watching that and be like, oh, this is grooming that's being set up.
Right. And I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, I don't know if that's
That we're hypersensitive to it.
yeah, that we pay more attention to something that may be
Pathologize everything. We
right.
pathologize everything.
yeah. But at the same time, like that we're totally fine with like what once was kind of a staple in adult themed cinema, like nudity and over sexuality has been replaced by like stylized combat and gore and visual aggression,
Like John Wick killing 150 dudes for killing his dog.
right, exactly. Like we're totally fine with that. Like I don't know if that's and has that, I don't know, has it just shifted and turned into like, okay, we're cool with that now, and now we're satiated as a result of seeing this versus the other stuff as we were back then.
I don't know.
It's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
But
because like the argument would be it makes us, you know, I think it's good to be aware of things, to notice warning signs, to pick up on things, and if we're a little bit overly sensitive, but it means that we can pick up on abuse sooner, then it's a good thing. But that would be the argument. I'm not sure if I fully endorse it though.
Oh, right.
Because if we're, I don't know, that I mean, I guess that would have been a perfectly normal interaction back then.
Maybe
It wasn't sexual.
Yeah, maybe, who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it must have been.
It had
if they're
to be
going to show it that way.
Right. I'm just saying like that, and there. Well, just like I was saying, like you wouldn't have a modern day show on, you know, whatever it is. I don't know what's a popular sitcom is nowadays, but you wouldn't have like, you know, the purveyors of whatever the you know product was or whatever. Like I don't know, like there's a, what's that one? It's about like a school, and it's kind of like The Office, but it has this, I can't remember what the name of it is. It's really popular. Anyway,
AP Bio.
No, AP Bio's hilarious. Not that. Okay, well, we'll just take that one. Like, or we can even take The Office, because that's even. Right. But if you just had that, and I don't know. Michael Scott he did a lot of inappropriate stuff, but like,
But it was shown to be inappropriate.
right. If it's perfectly normal that, like the doctor of a ship is saying, "Ooh, I'll be doing a late night call in room 23 later," like that kind of stuff was just accepted and part of that. Or like in License to Drive or anything, the amount of like statutory rape that was happening in a lot of those 80s movies was crazy, because there were so many young girls, because there's a very common theme between high school nerd guy wants to hang out with, this girl. I saw this in another movie. It was kind of early 90s called Heathers, it was like Christian Slater, Winona Ryder, and they're high school, they're juniors. They're juniors in I think they may even be sophomores, and they go to a college party and hook up with frat dudes. I'm like, yeah, I think that's all illegal. You know what I mean? But back then, I don't think people were paying too much attention to those things.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't know what to do with that information.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
I don't know if it's funny. It's just a noticeable shift. And I don't know if it's just a need for having some of those.
Well, it's not like our hyper focus on all these things now has done much to reduce how often sexual abuse happens. It hasn't been effective.
No. If anything, it seems like maybe it hasn't been effective. And you could argue that maybe the prevalence has gone up or has always remained the same, and we're just noticing
more
it
aware of it
right
now.
Right,
Yeah.
kind of the FedEx effect. So I don't know. Well, we'll just have to leave it unsolved because we're out of time for this podcast.
All right.
So okay, well, if any of you guys have an idea, let us know, and we'll until next time.